What is up, everybody? And you know what time it is. It is Tuesday, 9 p.m. It's time for you to sit back, relax. Well, tonight, you want to make sure you fasten your seatbelts. Your seats are in the upright position. That arm holder is down because we are about to take off because we have the Airbender himself, Royce Chambers. And I'm excited to bring Royce out and have an amazing conversation with Royce. He's a young, up-and-coming professional wrestler based out in Melbourne, I believe. Wrestles for MCW and a couple other promotions up that way. So we're going to sit down and we're going to go over it all. But before I bring out Royce, I just want to take a quick second, a quick moment, a quick pause for the cause to thank some sponsors. Now, first up is that company that I've always raving about. You see them all over the wrestling Facebook pages, the wrestling groups, the Instagram pages, the Twitter posts. These guys are A-Rock Designs. They make custom cups, hoodies, t-shirts, keychains, tumblers. You know, they made me this custom CM Punk tumbler, which I have on every show. Like, this thing is badass and is freaking huge. Keeps my cold drinks cold and my hot drinks hot. So make sure to go check them out. They have an amazing product at a great price range as well, guys. Next is Signal Studios. Now, all the independent professional wrestlers in the world, you need to listen up, because one thing you need to be a real standout besides being fly in the ring is having some dope-ass entrance music, am I right? Even when we were fans, we always knew that the music that these guys walked to the ring out really set the tone of the match. My boy Rafi from Signal Studios, he can mix, master, produce, and send you a track anywhere in the world. Or if you're a local musician here in Sydney, Australia, and you need a place to rehearse, a place to record, a place to jam, a place to get your creative juices flowing, head into Signal Studios. They have the most relaxing place possible to get all those creative juices out of you, where you can be as mellow as you want and get some of the best music talent out of you that you will find. But guys, I am hype. It is Tuesday night, as I said, 9 p.m. and I'm going to be bringing out Royce Chambers. And I'm not going to wait any longer. Royce, man, how you doing?
Good, mate. What about you?
Man, I'm good. It's Tuesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday, hump day. You know, I'm looking forward to some good wrestling that's coming up, man. And you've got a pretty good match coming up against Murdoch, I believe, in a few days, right? Or no, is it next week?
This Saturday.
No, this Saturday. My apologies.
Yes, yeah.
So
been a bit of hype around it. A little hype package went out today, so feel like I've turned into a heel this afternoon. But no,
really?
just playing my character, depending on different situations, how I react, all that shit. So no, I'm looking forward to it.
That's it, man. Do you usually play a heel or a baby face?
Always face. Been face my entire career, but I'm at the point now where I really like the idea of just playing a character and having that character react when he's in different opportunities and different situations, different crowds, whatnot. So yeah, I'm having fun. That's the main thing.
That's it, man. And how's it been? Like, because you're in Melbourne, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So how's it been in Melbourne with shows? Because like it's obviously, you know, shows are now starting to open back up. How was, you know, COVID down there for you guys? Because I know down in Melbourne, you guys were pretty much on a strict lockdown not too long ago.
Yeah, we were just shut down, doing nothing for 7 months, pretty much. That's what it felt like. Like there was a little stint in the middle where we got out, but then it was straight back locked up. So I'm hoping we just continue this grind of no cases, 0 cases, and just being able to have wrestling open.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's been like probably the biggest struggle for like I'm assuming wrestlers and also fans to not be able to go to live events. And you know, here in Sydney, I've been able to go to a few the past couple of months, and it's really good to go and have that atmosphere and to see it live again. You know, it's really refreshing, and I think 2020 was a really shitty year for a lot of people.
Are you going to the PWA show?
I am, man. I am. I'm going on Friday night, so I'm. Yeah, it's this Friday, man. So I'm spewing. I'd love to go to Melbourne and see, because Deathmatch Down Under is happening up there as well. So I'm sure you guys are going to tear the house down. Oh, dude, I'm sure there's people traveling from Sydney to Melbourne, bro, for it. You know, so
yeah, I know there's a couple. Good luck to them. I'll be rocking up nice.
That's some hardcore shit, man. Like,
Yeah.
as fans even going and doing that and backing up as well, man. So that's going to be
Good though. That's what
pretty
you
interesting
as
to
a
see.
wrestler, just to stay busy and have those big weekends, big opportunities.
Yeah, man, and it's probably really positive to see as well now that obviously, as I said, COVID, coming out of it, and the cases of dropping and dropping, and these things are starting to open up. It's hopefully we'll start seeing some double header weekends like we're starting to see this weekend.
Yeah, yeah, it's very good. It's good.
So you've been in the business for 3-4 years at the moment, and how did you start getting into wrestling? Was it something that you're a huge fan of as a kid?
Um, yeah, I loved it as a kid from probably like age 7 till maybe 13, was real big on it. Then fell out of it for a bit, just get into high school and it's not the cool thing and just get distracted by doing other stuff, partying and chicks and all that nonsense. And then when I was 17, I was just like fed up with school, fed up with everything. I was like, this is shit, man. Like, what do I want to do? And then, yeah, I discovered wrestling again. And then pretty much like within the next week, I was like, you know what? I've always liked it. I've always loved it. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to just put everything into it. And like, if in 3-4 years I'm not where I want to be and I'm just training and just haven't got anywhere, then I'll quit. But if I'm going to do it, I'm just going to drop everything and I'm going to put it all towards it. And that's pretty much what I did. And it's paid off so far, which is good.
That's awesome, man. And where did you get your start in training?
I started training at PCW in Melbourne, which I still
Yeah.
wrestle at the moment. Um, it was good when I started. Like we had training. I trained for about 3 months, and then they have rookie shows weekly. So then they were doing like rookie shows, and then their Saturday night shows weekly. So my first year, I had like 100 matches under my belt already, which is very rare. So like that experience, I think, played a massive part. And even though like the rookie shows wasn't in front of hundreds and hundreds of people, it's still getting those reps in as you start, I think played a huge part in my development.
Was it what you expected, like going into the wrestling school and for the first time and getting in to starting to take bumps and really experiencing the cardiovascular side of it? Was that challenging at first? And what was your first experience like?
I thought the ring was going to be a lot softer than what it was. I think that was the biggest wake up call. I was like, yeah, shit, this is real. This is full on. Um, Cardio wasn't too good. My cardio's never been the best because freaking asthmatic smoker since I was 16, on and off. But like back, like I'm better now, obviously, because I
Yeah.
put my work into it. But yeah, back then it was a big wake up call how fit you actually need to be. So then I had to get off the durries, get off just everything and knuckle down really. Um, yeah, it was a big wake up call.
I think a lot of people, obviously fans, when they go into that sort of environment, thinking it's going to be something easier than what it is. Oh yeah, these guys do it on TV all the time. Like, how hard could it be? And there's so much that goes into the finished product of a performer from start to finish. Like, and a lot of people just, I think they don't. I think you learn the respect of the business very quick when you get in there and start going through the paces.
Yeah, especially I think as well a big wake up call is when you get in the ring with someone that really is gonna like go at you for the first time, like really give you a beating, and it's not just people being pussies. I guess that's always a
Yeah.
big wake up call as well. To think like shit, like I'm in with the big dogs now. Like you really got to harden up and give it back.
Oh, 100%. And I think, you hear a lot of stories of guys, they sort of try that to just test the limit on what they can do, in the ring with you, just to see if you've got the balls to sort of step up and say, hey, fucker, you want to go? Like, I'll throw potatoes with you, man. Let's do it. So, but who were some of the people that you really enjoyed watching when you were younger that really inspired you to get in the business?
As a kid watching WWE, I was big like Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, HBK, just like those kind of bigger names. Um, and then as I got older, it was more like RVD, Sabu, kind of that more junior style. And I loved ECW back then. That was like around
Yeah.
12, 13 when you're kind of starting to figure out other promotions. And then later
Yeah.
on, when I got back into wrestling around like 17, when I was training and just trying to like suss out the business and everything, and I found New Japan and all that, I really enjoyed people like Osprey, Ricochet, Pac, that kind of style, and those dudes. And then around Melbourne, when I was like researching and figuring out like the game, I really enjoyed watching Brooksy. I was a big
Yeah.
JXT fan back then as well. Yeah, which is funny now, like seeing the position that I'm in, and with those guys, it's kind of not surreal, but it's just funny how the world works like that. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And, being 3, 4 years in the business, you've really skyrocketed your career. You've had opportunities of going over to Japan, wrestling in DDT. As far as the in-ring performance aspect of it goes, did you find that you pick things up very quickly?
For some of the stuff, yeah, a lot of it has just kind of come naturally, and I think like a big like throughout COVID, I've really figured out more character stuff, and that's come a lot naturally, more naturally to me now as well. Like the physical side, I could
So,
always pick up quick. Yeah, you go.
no, no, sorry, I thought you'd stop, but you
Just like,
mentioned, the character stuff. So my apologies. You mentioned, the character based stuff. Your character, from where you started to where you are now, how much has it evolved over that 3 to 4 year period?
Um, when I started, like, admittedly, I didn't really have any character. Like, it was just me going out doing my high spots and trying to get noticed. Um, but then I think DDT was a big wake up call of like how characters work and what you need to do to kind of get over in that situation, and like without actually being able to talk and like understand the language and people being able to understand me, it was like a bit of an eye opener to the little things that I can do, my mannerisms without actually being able to talk, things like that.
Sure.
And then also, I was just sick of people saying this dude's got no character when I knew like how much I could actually show. Um, and I think since I've been back, I have shown a lot more character and a lot more what I'm actually about. Um, just taking the piss, having a good time, and yeah.
I think as well, like to really find that character, and I've had conversations with veterans in the sport, and one of the things that one of them has told me is he has younger guys come to him and say, "How do I get over?" And it's like he just looks at me and is like, "I don't know. That's something for you to figure out." And I think that it's really up to the individual to work out how their character is going to be perceived and what it is they want to get out of it.
Mm.
You mentioned earlier that you're a baby face, and that's a role that you've been in for your entire career, and now you're looking at trying to sort of change it up a little bit and head in more of a direction of a heel. How different of your character now to the heel version of you would you consider yourself? Like, you talking completely 180 and going completely opposite to what you've been doing now, or just
Nah,
altering your
not
character?
even, not even like that. Like, I'm not trying to be heel, but I'm not trying to be a fucking come on baby face either. I'm just trying to put out a brand that's a character that people can either like or dislike. And I feel like if I'm a fan, I want to have the opportunity to choose if I do or don't like this guy. I don't need it shoved in my face. Like, oh, I don't know if he's good or bad. Like, you choose. Do you like me? Do you not? That kind of thing. So I'm just gonna do
Yeah.
things that I enjoy doing. And if sometimes I feel like ruffling some feathers, like with Murdoch, like I'm gonna do that just to have fun, take the piss. You know what I mean? But then if I'm in a situation where I'm against a dude that's been a douche to me, maybe like I need to kind of bring a bit more fire to it and cut out the jokes and shit and really go at him. So, like I said, I just want to have a character, and then he's going to do what he does depending on the situations that he's in.
Yeah, and I think that even in mainstream pro wrestling, you're starting to see that a little bit more as well, with like you know, because for years it's been like the heels of the cool guys, right? And like now you're starting to see, you know, in mainstream wrestling where guys that are supposed to be the heels are getting the biggest pops of the night. You know what I mean? Like they're doing heel shit, but everyone's enjoying it. But as far as like adapting to those situations, what were you doing differently now that you weren't doing, say, 2 years ago? Was it just
Good question. Maybe 2 years ago, I didn't really focus that much on the character side of it, and it was more like, what moves can I do that will go viral, that will get me to this promotion, shit like that. And now, like, as I'm maturing as a performer and a person, like, I actually enjoy a lot more of the character stuff now. And then I also realize that the shit hurts, and you kind of need that character, you know, to fall back on and to put forward. And like I said, I used to be very scared of promos and hated them and stuff. And now, like, it's since I've been back, I've loved doing that, and it's what I want to do most at the moment. Is just show that character and have a good time.
That's it, man. And that's what it's all about. It's like, as fans watching a product, it's like, we know that this is what you guys love to do. So when you see someone in there that's really enjoying it and enjoying that moment, it's a pretty cool thing to watch. But your wrestling style of being a high flyer and you know, and doing these high spots, did you do any like gymnastics or anything like that before you got into wrestling?
I always had a trampoline as a kid and just spent like every afternoon after school on that thing, wrestling the teddy and just trying stuff out. But I was never actually like overly flippy as a kid. And then when I got back into it, I did a bit of XMA as well, which is extreme martial arts, which is, I think, where I got like my body control from, which is a lot of like the tricks and stuff. It's not actually fighting people. Um, and then when I got back into wrestling, bought another trampoline and just thought, you know what, I'm gonna like, this is the shit that I love, and this is why I've fallen back into the love of wrestling, is this style that, like, I fell out of love for wrestling because it got all the same and it got so boring for me, because I was never big on stories and things like that. I just enjoyed the action and it all became the same, and I just thought, this is boring. So when I found like this whole new style, I was like, shit, like, this is awesome. This is what I want to do. So that I bought the trampoline and I just taught myself all this stuff. And then I quit school, got a job at Bounce, and I worked there for like 6 months, pretty much just so I could train myself into like the foam pits and everything, and then quit that shit once I learned everything that I wanted to learn. And that was pretty much set. And now, like, a lot of it, I can kind of just do like that. But then at the same time, there's still a lot of other stuff that I want to learn. But like I said as well, as
absolutely,
I get older,
man. Now you said, you know what, man, you said a lot there. And the first I want to ask is, what is extreme martial arts? Because like, I've heard of mixed martial arts. I've done mixed martial arts. What's extreme martial arts? Like, can you give me a bit of insight on that?
it's non-contact, but it's a lot of like different, like, really cool kicks and blocks and stuff, and you kind of like throw it all together. It's more of a performance. Um, Yeah, I don't know how much else to explain it. You're still great at like karate, like there's the green belts and brown belts, all that shit. But
Sure.
it's non-contact. It's more of a performance and throwing like kicks and forms and stuff together. I don't remember like any of it now. I wish I could, because I'm sure I could whip out like some cool kicks and stuff.
It sounds like capoeira.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of
Like,
people
yeah, like,
compare it to that. I was actually thinking, like, during COVID, I was like, shit, I should do a couple lessons, try to learn a couple moves again. But I haven't got around to it yet.
oh man. And one of the other things you said was, I left school to pursue professional wrestling. If that isn't the ultimate brother move, I don't know what is. But you
Yeah.
know, what was the reaction to mum and dad when a young airbender turns around and says, "Mom, Dad, I'm dropping out. and I'm going to go be a pro wrestler. What was that conversation like?
Oh man, surprisingly pretty supportive. They saw like the passion that I had for it because during that time, like I started year 12 and I was just doing shit and I hated it. And then in that time, I started wrestling as well. And like, so I wasn't available all the time. So my friends just started being like, fuck this guy. So I was pretty much hating life, but I think they saw the passion that I had for wrestling. And I just said, like, I don't want this VC. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to do it. I'll work at Coles and wrestle my whole life if I have to. Like, no offense to anyone that works at Coles, but I just said, I'm done. Like, I'm going to put everything to this, and that's all I want to do. And like I said, it's paid off so far, which is very lucky because it very easily could not. So they've been nothing but supportive this time and helped me out, which is good. So as long as you're making money and you're still doing something, then it's all right.
That's some pretty cool parenting, man. Like, were they like when they first started coming to shows, like were they fans of wrestling themselves?
Nah, they couldn't give two fucks. My mum, when she comes, she just cries half the time. She thinks I'm in pain, and I'm like, it's sweet, it's cool. But yeah, they've been.
Man, if you can work your own mum, bro.
Yeah.
I was just saying, if you're that good at selling, you can work your own mum, bro. Far out, man. you're on your way, man. But you mentioned, or we discussed just briefly that you had an opportunity to go over to Japan to DDT, and DDT is one of those promotions, as you mentioned, which is very character-based wrestling. How did that opportunity present itself to you? Like, obviously, someone so fresh to the business.
There was two major parts. There was a show in Adelaide that was going to run called Iron Fist, which was something in itself. That's a whole podcast on its own. But they were supposed to bring down a dude from DDT called Takeshita. And when he got booked, like he looked online and the only person that had been announced for that was me. So he followed me then and he kind of kept tabs on my stuff. And apparently since that day he was kind of pitching for me to go to DDT. And then but because I was so new and fresh, like I wasn't expecting anything and I didn't even know this at the time. And then I did PWA Coliseum, which was kind of one of my big breakout kind of moments. And I had the gif on Twitter of a big dive that went viral and that got around to DDT. And then I think it was just a culmination of him pitching for me, like randomly, random as shit, him pitching for me. But yeah, a combination of that and then the GIF like kind of going viral and getting eyes. Yeah, then I think about 2 weeks later they just said, "Yo, we want to bring you over." And I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Whoa. That's crazy though, man. Like, were you following the DDT product at that time? Like, were you keeping up with it?
Honestly, I didn't at all. Like, I only kind of knew about New Japan. Like, I knew the other promotions, but I didn't follow it whatsoever. But then, as soon as I got booked for it, I bought the little network and shit and looked into it because I think it's important to know promotions that you're going to. I think it's respectful to know who's who and what's what.
100%. And like when you started looking into DDT, who were some of the guys that really stood out for you that you were like, I want to work him, then I want to work him? Like,
yeah. I like Tetsuya Endo, great high flyer. And I got a chance to wrestle him, which was cool. It was only like 5 minutes, but it was still cool to get in the ring with him. And then also Takeshita, just because he pitched for me for so long, and also his work's like amazing. I think that he should be in a lot of other promotions and getting a lot of spots. And then also, I really wanted to work Mike Bailey, who goes there as another international here and there. I didn't get the chance to wrestle him, but he rocked up on the night that I left, so we both saw each other at a Corrigan Hall show, and then that was it. So it was still cool to meet him because he was one of the guys as well. When I was like 17, I thought was really, really great wrestler. And a match he had with Ospreay is still one of my favorites ever. So that was cool to finally like shake his hand, and I think that I'll get to wrestle him one day. Yeah.
That's it, man. And how did you find like the Japanese culture from Australian culture? Because it's completely different. Was it a culture shock when you went over there?
Yeah, it was. I was very anxious and nervous. I'm naturally a pretty anxious person anyway. Um, so going over there was a big culture shock. Um, but then once I settled in, it was all right. I didn't really do much. Pretty much just stayed in my room for a lot of it because everything was closed anyway. um, but it was still nice. Like I just wander the streets, I guess, find different food, shit like that. Um, Smokes were pretty cheap over there, which was hard to turn down, but I did. I did. um, but it was,
There
yeah,
you go,
it's
Mama Chambers. He didn't smoke.
yeah. And it's very respectful, very clean, and if you have trouble trying to get somewhere, people are more than happy to help, and they kind of treat foreigners like not a god, but like they have a certain level of respect for you, which is pretty cool to see.
Yeah. And how long were you over there for?
About 3 weeks to a month, and then I got one of the last flights home back. There was like no one on my flight. Had like all the
Oh,
attendants coming
bro.
up to me asking me for stuff. I was like, "Yeah, give me all of it." Yeah,
Bump me up to first class. Let's do this.
yeah, I know. I asked, but they said they can't. I was like, "That's BS. There's no one even fucking in the front. Just let me sit there." But yeah, oh well.
Jeez, man.
I
Those
know.
are those are the dream flights, bro. When you've got like a whole row to yourself. You had a whole plane,
Yeah,
and
like I
especially a long flight like that. But
pretty cool.
how did you find the translation with the Japanese guys like in the ring? So being able to call spots to each other, but like obviously these Japanese guys speaking little English, and I'm assuming you spoke little, only a very little bit of Japanese. How did that dynamic work for you guys?
Um, it was very daunting at the start. But what I found very interesting was I had my first match there, and all the wrestlers gathered around like the screen to watch what I did. And then throughout the tour, like when I'd plan with them and wrestle them, they'd kind of know like what I'd do, so they'd help me out a lot like that. Um, I don't know how much of the business I can expose. I don't know what I haven't already said, but yeah, they were very helpful in helping me out, I guess. Um, and there was a few dudes that spoke pretty fluent English, so if I didn't know what another
Oh, cool.
Japanese guy was saying, I'd go over to him and he'd translate, I guess. So that was very helpful as well.
Could you see yourself living over Japan, wrestling full time over there if the opportunity presented itself?
Yeah, I definitely could. Like Japan interests me probably more than America at this stage. But I'd like to do a couple more tours and just get a little bit more comfortable before I'd move there. I wouldn't want to just go bang like you're there for a year. I'd want to kind of
Yeah.
just get a couple more tours and then probably go. That's the dream situation. But if they said like, nah, a year or nothing, like I'd still do it. But I
Oh, of
could,
course, man.
yeah, it'd be hard. Like because I said, just an anxious person. I've always been a homebody, so. But I know in this business, if you got to succeed, you got to get outside that comfort zone and travel and move different places.
Oh, 100%. And were you training over there as well for with DDT?
Not really, to be honest. Like they only had it was very weird because I asked about it and they said that their training they don't want the young guys mixing in with more stars, which I was like I've only been wrestling 3 years, let me train. But they're like, no, like you're on the main roster. We don't want you mixing in with our guys, which like I understand that. And it was all right because I didn't have to bump as much and just could recover after shows because we we're wrestling 2, 3 times a week as well. So it is like pretty
Oh,
taxing.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
can imagine. So,
yeah.
I mean, even then, like, why do you think they wouldn't want their trainees to sort of be exposed to the sort of the stars that are on the main card? Like, do you think it's they didn't want them to pick up bad habits? Because you look at it over here, like if there was someone like a big name star came out to wrestle and it was like, hey, I want to train at MCW Academy or PWA or wherever. You'd think the promotions here would be like, yeah, come on in, show us everything. But what do you think the reason is of the Japanese sort of away from that?
They said it was because they want their rookies to interact with these main roster guys when they've earned it and they've made it to the main roster. So even like their trainees, like Murdoch, Royce sucks.
There's your mate. Murdoch was on just the other night.
But yeah, they didn't want their main roster guys to mix in with the rookies, and the rookies kind of like wipe the boots and scrub the floors, that kind of shit, until they get to the main roster. Not that there was that brutal, but they just want people to earn their respect before they get to that level.
Yeah, and it's like the Japanese, I think it's like the Japanese culture, because it's like the same with like sumo and stuff like that. Like they've got their little young boys that prep all the food and do all the washing and stuff like that. But it's like it shows that dedication of really wanting to be in the business, like to go through that. And like, man, I'll tell you, like I got kids, bro. I don't even like washing their dirty underwear. Like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to do it for another grown ass man. So for someone to do that, to get an opportunity to wrestle, fuck, bro, more power to you, homie. Go hard.
Yeah.
But when you started breaking in, obviously in the Australian scene, who were some of the guys that, was there anyone that really took you under their wing and really helped you along the way?
It's a hard question. I think I've had like different people that have helped me at different stages. I can't really like put my finger on one. I've had a lot of guys that have just helped me out and supported me. I haven't really had like someone too much in that mentor role that like I always go to. Like it's kind of just different guys that I respect in different areas, and like they respect me and kind of just help me out that way. But I haven't had just that one guy that's really taken me under their wing in a sense. Yeah. No, I'm not trying to say that I feel bad if there is anyone that thinks they have, but like I feel like I'm just friendly with most people, and just ask people for different opinions and things like that. I kind of am I have, this might sound bad as well, but like I have like a vision of what I want to do, and I kind of stick to that.
Yeah.
I
think that's important though, to, if you have this vision of what your character is to be and how you want it to be presented. I think, you know you the best, right? So there's not like anyone go, hey, I think Royce Chambers could be more of this. Well, it's like, no, like, what Royce Chambers is because you're fucking Royce Chambers, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think it's by sticking to that as well. It's establishing yourself as being an individual and being someone who's different, but obviously being open to take feedback from veterans that are there. So
you can learn from anyone,
but
it's your choice to listen or not listen, and take the advice or not take the advice, if it's worthy to you or not.
Exactly. Have you had a chance to meet any, veterans in the business that have been international? So, you mentioned a bit of time in Japan. Have you met any people from the UK or the States that have, pulled you aside and said, hey, why don't you try this, or giving you any little bits of tips and pointers?
Makes me think. Chris Brooks, I don't know if like you call him big international star, but I guess he is international. He gave me a big piece of advice, and he just pretty much said complacency kills, and you just have to keep going new places and learning new things. Otherwise you'll drown in the water. And that's kind of something that's stuck with me. I think is a great piece of advice. It is always good to like stick to your home and stick to the people that helped you. But like even in life, sometimes you got to move out of home and, catch you later. I got to go this, and maybe I'll come back when I'm broke as fuck. But, just got to go these new places and learn different things.
I think like even what you were saying before, it's like, to be successful in the wrestling business, you have to leave your comfort zone, leave that bubble and go other places. And, as saying, the not to become complacent, that's as well, it ties in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big theme. I need to get it in my
Yeah,
head because
exactly.
part of me fights it away and is like, no, stay here. This is where you're comfortable. But you have to tell yourself, like, no, you got to get out of that comfort zone.
What is it that makes you want to stay put and not want to go anywhere?
Um, I think it's just general like anxiety of the world. Like this is where I'm comfortable. Like got my little job, can wrestle like these big promotions on the weekend. Like I'm comfortable, but I know that there's only a certain ceiling you can reach. But a part of me as well, like my one of my biggest goals is just wanting Australians to be able to make a living off wrestling, and like I want to be here to help that as well. But sometimes you can't make it happen from the inside, and you have to go outside and try to make it happen that way and bring the eyes back.
Oh, 100%. And, we see a lot, I think probably in the last 10 years, Australians being put on, major wrestling promotions and getting that exposure where not necessarily they were back then. I think, you go back to like the 80s and 90s where it's like, oh, crikey, tie me kangaroo down, sport, like I got him in a headlock, to now it's like, okay, this is a professional wrestler who just happens to be Australian. And,
Yeah.
starting to see, Australian talent getting more and more opportunity in those and good spots in some of those in those bigger promotions.
Mm. Yeah, I mean it's taken off at the moment, and hopefully once COVID's over, people just continue to keep getting brought out for tours and getting picked up here and there and everywhere.
That's it, man. Like, for yourself, like, did you, when you got into wrestling, you said, that's it, going to give myself like 4 years, see how it is, dedicate myself to it. Did you have any goals in mind when you started?
When I started, like everyone's goal is just to get to WWE. As I get older, I want to just go to a place that will take me and my character for what I am and want to work together to make something bigger than that. I wouldn't really want to go somewhere that's like, all right, he's got these skills in the ring. Well, we want him to be this because that's not fun to me. Like a big part of what I enjoy about wrestling now is just showing my creativity, um, and putting out a brand that I feel happy with and that people can respect because it's pure and it's authentic. So yeah, I kind of just I want to get picked up by someone that invests in me and I can invest in them, I guess.
Sure. And becoming a performer to where you are now, and you said you struggle with anxiety. What's been the biggest challenge of your career as a professional wrestler?
Um, it's a tough question. I think probably the biggest challenge is just that either getting over the fact when you don't have a match that you enjoy or that you're not proud of. That's always a shit feeling, but it also is motivation that you need to get better. And then also just like I'm always nervous as before matches, so just I'm getting better at it, but just being confident that like this is what you work for, this is what you do weekly. Just back yourself and go out and do it. So they're probably like the two biggest challenges. But during COVID, I just kind of learnt to just have fun and enjoy it. And like if it all goes away again, like boom, that's like how quick it can go away. So just enjoy it. If you fuck up, you fuck up. Who cares? Like it's gonna happen. But just enjoy the ride and just work to get better.
Yeah, man. I think the nervousness is one thing, and I think like if you don't have those butterflies in your stomach before you go out there, that's probably a bigger concern. It's because I think the nervousness shows how much that you really care, and wanting to go out and put on a good show, not just for the audience but also for yourself to be proud of as well, and put out a body of work that lives up to that expectation that you've set for yourself.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
But like, do you ever feel like sometimes, like, what do you do to sort of calm yourself before a show? Is it just reminding yourself consistently you do this week in and week out? you can do this. You know what I mean? Is it just sort of reiterating that self in your head?
Yeah, it's not always on my mind, but it's just like
Sure.
just pops in every now and then, like, don't fuck up kind of thing. But I usually turn those nerves into energy and just kind of get G'd up to just go out and put on the show. Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, I get it absolutely, and it's wrestling and I think it's like wrestling in front of people or speaking in front of people. It can be like I don't know about wrestling, but even doing any type of performance in front of a live crowd where people are looking solely at you can be absolutely nerve wracking. And obviously putting in things that you've like, okay, I've got to remember like X, Y, and Z for this match tonight. You know what I mean? The spot I need to be in at a particular time, and then having nerves on top of that. I think people don't really. I think wrestling fans probably don't understand the nervousness of what it takes to be a professional wrestler and perform at a high level as well.
Yeah. There's a lot to it. But a lot of the time, like, crowds are forgiving if people stuff up. It's
Yeah.
not like they don't think it's the end of the world, but it is like there's a lot that goes through your head. And it's just because wrestlers care and have passion for what they do and just want to be good and want to be the best.
Yeah, and I think as well, like sometimes when there's like an error or like it could be like a slip or whatever it may be, it gives that next level. It gives a level of realism to the match, if that makes sense. Because it's like
Yeah,
if you watch a real match, it's like not every punch lands, not every kick will land. It's not every move will necessarily work. And for
yeah,
me, I always look at it like that because it gives it that sense of
same.
authenticity.
Yeah, yeah, yep. Like you said, in real fight, not everything lands and shit like that. So yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's the biggest thing. But who's been like one of your favorite opponents to wrestle over the years that you've had, might have been like a storyline with or a series of matches with?
Um, it's a good question. Again, I enjoyed getting in the ring with Danny Psycho. Um, I enjoyed getting in the ring with Endo when I got that opportunity. Um, I don't know, just anyone new. I enjoy working. I kind of get boring. I kind of get bored working like the same people, which happened a lot in the first few years of my career because PCW's roster is exclusive, so you're always kind of wrestling the same people, which can get boring. So pretty much anyone new and anyone that is down to just go out there and be creative and put on a good body of work, like I just enjoy wrestling.
And how was it? Because you said PCW's was exclusive, but like you still wrestle for PCW and other promotions now, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they've opened they've relaxed that rule a little bit.
Um, yeah, yeah. They're starting to bring in like more people and switching it up a bit, which is good. And I'm lucky enough to be able to work there and other places, and like I'm hoping it opens up doors for a lot of other guys as well because I think
Mm.
they have a lot of talent there. Like it's a ridiculous talent pool. So getting those guys out and about will help everyone and help their product. And they have like six set up, and it can. I think PCW this year really can take off if it does all the right things and gets the right attention on it, especially with the deal with Fight TV as well. I think will be big.
Oh,
And seeing all the wrestlers getting other opportunities, I think throughout the year it'll happen more. It'll be good year.
oh, absolutely. Like PCW's been around for a long, long time as well. So I think like I remember seeing like I was actually sent a match with Mad Dog McRae and Lobo from like 2000. I think it was like 2001, where it was like a no rope barbed wire match.
Yeah,
And man, that was I think it was like the first one in Australia. And like, dude, that match is just fucking insane. Like, great match. Put in those extra extreme elements like barbed wire. It was crazy. It's crazy, dude. Like,
yeah,
but where PCW has been and to where it is now, to be able to open up, and I think promotions like years ago, like in the early 2000s, really had like their own talent, which didn't sort of go across other promotions. And I, as a fan, I always wondered, like, why? Like, you look at the
Yeah.
US indies and like you're seeing guys go to all these different shows. I could like looking back at it now, where I'm a little bit more smarter to it. I can go, well, okay, fair enough. Like, then you're not going to see the same stars on every event, but your guys are only working once a month, once every 2 months, where
Yeah.
they could be working multiple times, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's how I thought of it as well. Like I always thought, in America they're wrestling like 2-3 times a week on the indies. Like I want to do that, but as well, like you said, I worry about now doing like MCW, PCW, and deathmatch down under. Is it going to become overexposure? Like, am I going to oversaturate myself? So it is a fine line to play, but I think that also plays into I'm going to react differently as a character depending on where I am, and I think that'll keep it fresh enough.
Yeah, I mean, Deathmatch Down Under, is very new, and their debut show was absolutely stellar. And I think, depending on how that fan base is going to be, if it's going to be that more extreme diehard fan base, then it's going to give you that opportunity to really explore, different parts of that character that you were talking about before, like going down and doing some heel shit, or then going back to MCW or PCW and being, a top baby face.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we're in the day and age where you can do that. Like a lot of people used to say, "Oh, you don't want to work all these different like sides of you in different companies and shit because it confuses people." But it's not like they're all 5-year-old kids. Like people know what's up. They're just
No.
gonna enjoy it for what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah, and
Well,
maybe it might
if you
jade people's opinions of me. Um, but hey, man, like I said, I'm just gonna keep having fun.
well, dude, let me put it to you like this, right? You said you're an ECW fan.
Hmm.
So imagine ECW in the mid 90s if Hulk Hogan walked into the ECW arena, the biggest baby face in the world. He would walk in there and they would boo the fuck out. He would be the biggest heel in the business. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. It's like different crowds are going to react differently depending. And I think it's, some performers that you see can either react negatively to it or embrace it. And the ones that embrace it just get that shit over more and more. Like, you know what I mean? Like to another level.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like I might be a little bit more hated there as well because I'm not doing the death matches and stuff. I'm just going out there and wrestling, which people might think like, yeah, he's a sellout or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, it's cool. It's cool all the different little aspects and stuff we can put into it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, would you ever see yourself going into the gimmick matches and the extreme elements of the ultra violent world?
I hate pointy things, man. I hate it, but I reckon I have to one day. You can't be a wrestler and not do one. I really want to do like a Lego and doors match, something like that. I thought would be cool because it's no pointy stuff. It's just and Lego still
Oh,
sucks. Everyone says Lego hate like sucks more than tax. So it's hardcore enough, and then chucking in some doors or tables or something. I think it'd be cool. I think that's something that I'd want to do first if it gets the okay. But it'd have to have the right opponent and whatnot. Yeah, the right circumstance.
oh, dude, absolutely. But it's like, and I think that's where, like, I think with death matches, like, there's so much talent that can do it really, really well in the world, and there's some that can't. And it's like if you can do it well and put on a good story, it's the same with like, lucha libre, high flying wrestling, mat
Yeah,
based wrestling, whatever it is. It's if you're able to do it and do it really well, then you know what I mean, and be able to make sense of it. That's the big thing as well.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
But look, we are going to start winding it up here on Shooting the Shit Uncensored. But before we do wind it up, we have warned Royce about the game. It is right. It is 60 seconds with Piers. Royce, I'm going to fire some rapid fucking questions at you, and you have a minute to answer as many as you can. Are you down for this, bro?
I'm down for it.
All right, man. We're going to get this started. Tell me when you're ready.
Ready?
What is your go-to drink on a night out?
It's probably just beer.
Okay. Home barbecue or nightclub?
Barbecue.
Early bird or night owl?
Night out. Night out.
Board shorts or Speedo?
Board shorts.
Favorite holiday destination?
I don't know. Thailand, somewhere I can sit the fuck down.
If you could ask Vince McMahon one question, what would it be?
Oh, mate. Why won't you make me a billionaire?
Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram.
If you're auditioning for Australian Idol, what song would you sing?
Oh. I don't know. I got no clue.
What is the best gift you ever received?
Basketball ring? No, my Xbox 360. Oh.
That was pretty good, man. Xbox 360. So, man, you still rocking with that thing or what?
When I was 12, 11, I don't know, somewhere around there.
Dude, I feel so old talking to you, man. Like seriously, my knees and back are hurting as soon as you said that. But Royce, where can everyone find you, follow you, get some of your merch?
Instagram, Royce Chambers Pro. Twitter, Airbender Royce. I've got a wrestler merch store, or you can just see me at shows, buy stuff there. I've put out little deals here and there. If you come up to me at the merch stand, you want to throw some stuff together, I'm becoming quite the salesman. So yeah, just find me there and we'll figure something out.
And you got this match against Murdoch coming up. We know Murdoch's watching. Have you got any last words for Murdoch?
Get your ass in the gym. Get ready for me. Do all you can, but I'm gonna beat you, and that's just that. I'm gonna continue doing what I do best, because what I do best is what I do best.
There you go. He's laying it out for your boy Murdoch. But guys, this has been Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I am your host, the bald, the beard, the beautiful Piers Austin. And I just want to thank my guest, Royce Chambers, for coming on tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure, Royce. Wish you all the best for the upcoming show and for 2021 being a good year for you in Australian wrestling, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Same goes.
Thank you very much. And thank you for everyone tuning in. Make sure to stay tuned, guys. I've got some big interviews coming up next week. It's going to be a big week for me. I've got 3 interviews next week, guys. So make sure you tune in for them. But until next time, guys, we'll see you soon. Peace.